Affirmations rarely work. Most affirmations, they are actually deformations, if that's even a word. They are creating the opposite of what you want. Why? Because while you're saying that sentence, where is your awareness? I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, while you're being aware of being ugly. Well, it is awareness that solidifies into physical reality. That is manifestation. It's always your story that manifests. It's always your assumption. It's always your knowing. It's always your awareness. So if you are aware of being not it, while saying that you are it, it's not working. You are creating more of what you would not like. That's the huge problem. But we have a solution. I have 3 things you have to go through to understand how to create a powerful affirmation. And then I have my framework at the end of this video. So follow along. It won't take long. I'm Chris. I'm a manifestation coach, awareness coach, identity coach, whatever you want to call me. If you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel and stick around, okay? I'm teaching you how to create your reality. So let's jump on the iPad as we always do. First problem, first thing to overcome, to realize what is the problem, is that you have an affirmation. I call this the heart of manifestation, right? Affirmation, right? You have an affirmation, and you also have your being, your state, your awareness, right? Let's say awareness. Okay. So what happens is that affirmations, they work when you say them because you are aware of being that thing when you say it. It's your being. I am beautiful. In that split second, you're believing that story, right? So you are connecting yourself to the affirmation, right? Somehow building bridge to that sentence. But what happened the minute before you said it? You were reminding yourself that you need to say it, right? So you actually spend awareness on it, right? That's why I call it the heart of manifestation. Cliche, I know. But this is what happens. You keep on looping affirmations while continuously being aware of the state you do not want. And that is what most of you guys are doing. And it's not a problem. It's just, I'm here to tell you how to fix it. Awareness is what solidifies, right? So it's actually this direction. That is what's going to be your future creation. That's the reality you're going to face tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. This is your manifestation. Your affirmation is merely a thing you're saying to try to create reality. But be careful, because if you're not saying it out of the correct state, you are creating more of what you don't want, right? And every time you do this, you're solidifying your awareness. Hopefully this makes sense, right? I'm just gonna. So we can keep on circling to this affirmation, but we will eventually fall back on our awareness, right? So you can create stuff. You can create a car. You can create a house. You can create a partner. You can create a lot with affirmations. So I'm not saying they're not working temporarily. What I am saying is that you will fall back on your awareness level the moment you stop saying it. So what we need to fix in this video is your awareness behind the affirmation. That instead of saying that you want to become something, be aware of already being, right? And Neville talked about this, and when he said man is all imagination, which we're going to talk about in the next video, so subscribe to the channel, he really meant man is all awareness. He really meant you are only that experience you're having inside of you. So if you keep saying stuff and you stop saying it and you are then aware of your old reality will just start manifesting again. And that's why some of you fall back through this loop of creating, not creating, creating, not creating. And this will also teach you why there's stuff you cannot manifest. You can actually manifest everything, but why there's stuff that you cannot manifest. And that's because you have awareness in that place of not having. So there will be stuff, let me just take the red one, where you are affirming a blue balloon, and you simply have no awareness of the opposite of a blue balloon, whatever that would be, right? You have no resistance to it. Resistance is awareness not being there. And resistance is then meeting awareness in a place where it has previously been in the opposite direction. So resistance towards money is awareness on lack, right? That would also be a money block. Some would call it a shadow. Meeting the shadow is previously inhabited spaces of awareness, right? Places I have previously been with my awareness, things I've been aware of, right? So that blue balloon, it just comes to you because there's the speed of manifestation is really about minimizing awareness on not having it and increasing awareness on having it already. But that car you really want, that is not coming to you. It's because you every day you think, I still don't have the car. I still don't have the car, right? Spending all of your precious awareness on not having it. So that affirmation, that evening visualization, it's doing nothing. Or it's fighting against yourself, right? You are being aware of not having it. The thing that actually solidifies, your story that solidifies, you are fighting yourself, right? I've told you this before. If you want to be healthy, you cannot manifest being healthy from a place of I'm aware of being unhealthy. That's creating more of what you don't want. If you're trying to manifest money, it's not about having your awareness on not having enough money, trying to create money. It's simply moving a step behind it and say, how can I observe myself as the one having enough money? How can I be aware of that? That's why Neville said, it is done. And Abdullah said, you are already in Barbados. Okay? So let's go on to the next thing you will have to face. And that is then the hole. Right? So most people, they have this hole of creation and they try to fill affirmations down into it. Right? So you're trying to fill that hole with affirmations. But really what the affirmation should be, and that's why Neville sometimes said you only need to say it once, is it should close that awareness loop that you have on not having it. The affirmation should be, now I know that I'm always creating what I want. So now that I'm aware of it, now that I'm aware that I have a hole, I have an internal dialogue of I don't think I have enough money. Let me close that hole. Let me become aware of myself as not having that problem. Let me realize I can fill my awareness with it. I can drown in it. So it's not to fill up the hole because it won't ever work. There's a hole in this bucket, right? And it will just continue leaking. It's actually about closing the hole and saying, I don't have that problem. And the way you will realize this is just looking at other people. Rich people are not walking around saying, I'm rich, but they are walking around with the awareness that they are rich. They are not saying it. I've told you this before in earlier videos where I talk about Paul that has this beautiful Porsche in his garage. Would he keep affirming, I have a Porsche, I have a Porsche? No. But would he, when he is upstairs in his couch, would he be aware of having a Porsche in his garage? Yes. Can he, at the moment of laying in the couch, see his Porsche? No. But he's aware of having it. And you can be aware of having it before it solidifies. And it's that awareness that solidifies. And then your really true quest is then, can I remove my awareness of not having it? Can I spend so much awareness on having it that it's conquering that old self? Right? Stay up at night. Right? Just continue being aware of having that Porsche. Right? So that you drown yourself. Yeah, but I only know that to be true. Right? And then that affirmation is actually the ending station. It's the removal of a hole. It's not to fill a hole. It's to say, I am the owner of a Porsche. And I only need to say it once. I just needed to become aware that that's what I am. And if I can continue being in that awareness, I will only have to affirm once. I will only have to visualize once. It's enough. Right? God just said, let there be light. Right? the great analogy of how easy it is to create. It's also relevant, present in the Quran. Kun faya kun. Be and it is. Right? So it's in all religions. They talk about how effortless creation should be. You should realize I just need to be aware of it and not be aware of the opposite. And with my clients, that's also what I've seen, is that it's about losing that sense of awareness on the problem. It's about totally dismantling that reality in your awareness, right? Which takes us on to, so Chris, what the F is awareness? And I call this the extended infinity model, right? We are soon done, all right? So we have reality. And I think I will make these because it's not real reality. Then we have mind. It could also be self. And then we have awareness. Some would say God. Some would say Allah. Some would say consciousness. Some would say the all. You have a job to do, which is very important in these circles of extended infinity. It is this. Pay close attention now. You are watching reality, right? Reality is this yellow thing, right? And you're watching through your mind. Let me draw eyes on this mind, right? So you are looking out in this direction, right? Looking out at reality. And you think that you are this mind, right? You are positive. Yeah, but I'm this mind. How can I change? How on earth can I feel healthy when I'm unhealthy? And it's because you are very sure that you are this mind. But you are not this mind. You are the awareness behind it. This is actually true you, the awareness that you were born with. And that's also looking out at your mind, right? Same direction, right? And most people are so identified with the mind that they stay in this mind. They stay in the middle section. And they say, but how can I change that? I say, but that mind is a state, as Neville would say. That mind is, leave it. Leave that self. I'm not talking about changing that self. I'm talking about realizing that you are the awareness right behind it, observing itself. So I'm not asking you, hey, can you look at reality and see abundance? I'm asking you to go all the way to your awareness and say, can I observe myself as being rich? Can I imagine myself to be rich, as Neville would say? But then some of you will think that imagination is this fantasy act of, yeah, but I'm just imagining. I'm just fooling myself. But you're not. Your imagination is your awareness. Right? Actually, that's a very important point. Let's just include it very fast. I have not prepared for this, but everything is your imagination. This is you. This is a guy talking to you, right? He's talking to you. Where do you experience him talking? You are definitely not experiencing him talking where he's talking. If you closed your eyes and I asked you, where are you experiencing it? Where are you aware of him talking? You would say, I don't know. Not in my ears, not in my head, but it's just a sensation. I'm aware that he's talking. Okay. Look at something in your room. You can see your phone on the table, you can see a plant, or you can see something. But where are you aware of it? Not where is it, but where is it in your awareness? I'm aware of it here. Yes, you are. Everything that you are aware of is in your awareness. That is what everyone is you pushed out means. is that maybe you see a person and you think they are over there, but where do you experience in your awareness? And you put a label on it, depending on how your awareness is trained. You put a label on it. So if you are 4 people in a car and someone cuts you off, you all experience the same event differently because you are aware of it in different ways. So it did not happen in one way, it happened in 4 ways in your individualized extension of godlinesses, right? In your awarenesses, it happened. Okay? Which means that I'm always imagining, when I put a thought to why he cut me off, I'm imagining. I'm not telling the truth because everyone else in the car is telling a different truth. So therefore it cannot be truth. Truth cannot be changed. So yes, my experience is very real to me. But it happens in my awareness. And when I close my eyes and see a polar bear, I'm seeing the polar bear in exactly the same place as I'm seeing the polar bear in the zoo. I'm seeing it in my awareness. So there's no difference. When Neville said, man is all imagination, he meant man, he was right? I'm not trying to correct now. Man is all awareness. You are always imagining. Right? So can I be aware of myself being this thing? Is way more important than saying an affirmation. And if I'm saying it, I am being my old self, trying to change reality with a sentence. But that self does not believe it. It's simply being aware of it for a moment. So not, can I change reality? I can maybe change myself a bit, become a different identity, the one that naturally speaks like that. Then we are at so firstly we were at reality level, right? Then we are at self level. But now I'm actually saying, can I look out at my own self with my awareness as being that thing? Right? And if you have a hard time following me on this, close your eyes, ask yourself, when is my next thought going to appear? And realize now you're observing your mind. And that observer has no age, no looks. And if you have something you don't like about yourself, it's not that awareness having that thing. Your awareness is not afraid of flying. Your awareness is looking at a self that is afraid of flying, or think it is. Right? Which takes us on to the ending of this, but also the most important thing. So your job, right? What is that? Well, your job is to say your job. It is firstly to make a list of what you want. So you're finding a hole inside of you. There's something I want, right? Something I desperately want. I think I'm not having it. It's because I'm not including it in my awareness. I could include it in my awareness. I could close my eyes and include it. That's what I'm doing with visualization. That's what I'm doing with my internal dialogue. And that's what I'm doing with my language. Observe yourself as already having what you want, right? So then I would say, okay, observe yourself. Go to your awareness. You can close your eyes. And when you get experienced, you can just, with your eyes open, become aware of yourself as that person. How can I be aware of myself as healthy? Not by myself, not by my thoughts, but by going to my awareness and saying, how would I experience myself? How would I conjure up that image? How would I imagine myself? From my awareness, how would that see? If I looked out at a rich person, how would that be? Right? And when you find that, so when you experience yourself as feeling beautiful or rich or whatever you want, now you can say your affirmation. And now is the only time where you can say that affirmation. So now we obviously give thanks or we enjoy. Thank you. I'm so grateful for being beautiful. Or I have always been Or you can use Neville's I remember when. Right? But you need to find that state. And now I've been talking for 20 minutes about how to get to that awareness level. And this video is about affirmations, but hopefully you are looking at this video and realizing it's not about affirmations. Because being it does not require saying it. It's a powerful tool in a toolbox to start creating, moving awareness in that direction. But you can move awareness without saying it. You can move awareness without meditating. And you need to move awareness, because otherwise you're just part-time manifesting. You're part-time creating what you want. I'm saying it until I'm not saying it, and then my awareness is aware of not having it, and then I won't have it. So move your awareness. See that it's coming. Be aware of its coming. Be aware of your desire fulfilling at this moment. It's done. You are already in Barbados, as Abdullah would say to Neville. You are already in Barbados. You are already in Barbados. So keep saying this. It's done. I'm the one being aware of that it's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Get out of here. Bye.